So second year Bcom computer application semester 2 first year Bcom computer applications semester 2 programming in C and C++, programming in C and C++, unit 2 data structures or control structures in C, control structures in C, compulsory set equation. So what are control structures, what are the different types of control structures, అవన్నీ కూడా మనం ఒకసారి డిస్కస్ చేద్దాము. సో what is a condition? Condition means it is an expression. Conditions are generally used to evaluate something or evaluate if the given expression is true or false. Means all the conditions are generally returns either true or false values. Conditions are expressions are generally built up with operators, variables, constants and operators. There are number of operators are there, like arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators. మనకి arithmetic operators తెలుసు, ఎడిషన్, సబ్ట్రాక్షన్, డివిజన్, మల్టిప్లికేషన్. అలాగే రిలేషనల్ ఆపరేటర్స్ అంటే లెస్ దాన్, గ్రేటర్ దాన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు, లెస్ దాన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు, ఈక్వల్స్ టు, నాట్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు, ఇవన్నీ కూడా రిలేషనల్ ఆపరేటర్స్. So these are relational operators. What are relational operators? Less than or equals to, greater than or equals to, equals to, not equals to. Equals to means single equals to is a assignment operator and a double equals to is a comparison operator, or to compare two or more values or expressions or variables or combination of variables. So every expression or condition is built up with some variable, some operator and operand, and every expression or condition may give either true or false value. Means they may return either true or false value. If it is true, means the given condition is true, some statements are executed, or if the given condition is false, some other statements are executed. So what are control structures or control statements in C language? It is a compulsory essay question from second year Bcom computer application and first year BA computer applications. So control structures are two types. One is conditional statements and looping statements. So what are conditional statements? So what are conditional statements? Generally conditional statements have some condition with them. Based on the result of this condition, some statements are executed. If the condition is true, some statements are executed, or some set of statements are executed. If the condition is false, another set of statements are executed. So control statements are in C language are basically two types. First one is conditional statements and second one is loops or looping statements. Control statements are basically two types. First one is conditional statements or conditions. Second one is loops or looping statements. So what are conditional statements or if statements? First one is if else or a simple if. It is also called as simple if statement or if else statement. If else if and while loop, do loop, for loop, while when, switch statement. All these are examples for conditional or control statements in C language. So we may discuss all these things one by one. First one is if else statement. if else statement is a conditional statement, means if else. The if else statement can exist in two forms, with or without the else. The two forms are, first one is if within brackets some condition statements, or second one is if some some condition within brackets statement 1 else statement 2, means if the given expression or statement, the given expression or condition is becomes true, or it is true, then a set of statements are executed or runs, or if it is the given condition or statement is false, then another set of statements or group of statements are executed. So this is the syntax of two syntax forms of syntax of if statements or if else statement. So another example is if condition statement 1 else statement 2, if condition statement 1 else statement 2. Example is int a comma b, if a is less than b, a is equals to 0, else b is equals to 0. This is a simple example of using if statement or simple if statement. It is called as if statement or if else statement or a simple if statement. Next one is nested if statement. What is nested if? Nested if statements means an if statement have another if statement within it. What is nested statement? Nested if statement, an if statement have another if statement within it, means one if statement have another if statement in it. Generally nested if statements are like this example, if I is equals to 10 bracket open, if j is less than 20, a is equals to b, like that. So this is the simple example of using nested if statement. Next one is if else ladder. If else ladder means if else if statements. If else if statement, it is called as if else if statement. The syntax is if condition statement 1, if condition 1 statement 1, else if condition 2 statement 2, else if condition 3 statement 3, last else statement 4. So it is called as if else if statements. So the syntax is if some condition, if some condition statement 1, else if condition 2 statement 2, else if condition 3 statement 3, like that, else statement 4, means if the given condition 1 is true, statement 1 are executed. If else if condition 2 is true, will becomes true, statement 2 are executed. Else if statement 3 is becomes true, statements 3 condition 3 is true, then statement 3 are executed, else statement n are executed. So if else if ladder, this is the example program for using if else if ladder or if else if statements. Next one is switch statement. What is switch statement? Switch statements are generally used to select or choose only one option from the given set of options or given set of values. Means generally by using switch statement, we may use only one value or choose one value or select one value, and some statements or set of statements are executed. So syntax is switch expression or condition case value 1 statement 1, case value 2 statement 2, break semicolon, and case value n statements and break default, like that. In the switch statement, if the given expression is evaluated first, if it is equals to value 1, then statement 1 is executed and it immediately come out of the switch statement. Else, if it is equals to value 2, if it is equals to value 2, then statements 2 are executed and come out of the loop. Like that, if its value is n, statements n are executed and come out of the loop, and if the value of the given expression is not value 1, value 2, and it doesn't matches with the given values, then a default value is taken and it is executed. So this is the example program of a simple switch statement. Next is nested switch statement. So loops, iteration or looping statement. So control statements are two types. Control statements are basically of two types. First one is loops or looping statements. Second one is first one is conditions or conditional statements. Control statements are basically of two types. First one is conditions or conditional statements. Second one is loops or looping statements or iterations. So what are the different types of loops or looping statements which are available in C? Examples are for loop, while loop, do while loop, like that. So the first one is while loop. The syntax is while within bracket some condition, bracket open, body of the loop or statements, set of statements or group of statements, bracket close. So how a while loop is executed or runs means, first the given condition or the given expression is evaluated or checked first. Based on the result of the given condition, the loop will be executed or terminated. If the condition is true, if the first time if the given condition is true, becomes true, the control or the loop will be executed, or the statements within the while loop are executed one by one. And if the condition is false, if the condition is false at the first time or at the beginning, the condition will automatically, the loop will automatically exited, or the loop or control will be come out of the loop, and again the loop will be tested for whether it is true or false until the condition becomes false. So how the while loop will execute means, while loop will be executed till the given condition becomes true and it will come out of the loop while the condition becomes false. So this is the simple program of using while loop. Do while loop. Next loop is, or next statement is do while loop. So how to use a do while loop? Do some bracket open, some body of the loop or set of statements or loop of statements, bracket close, while condition. So while loop is different, do while loop is different. So what is the syntax of do while loop? Do while loop means here first, so what is the main difference between do while and do while? While means in the while loop, first the given condition is tested whether it is true or false. In the while loop, first the given condition is tested whether it is true or false. If it is true, then only the control or the statements within the loop will be executed. If the given condition is false, then the control will come out of the loop. Means the control will come exits without entering or without executing the statements. So what is the main difference between while and do while? While in the while loop, first the given condition is executed. So main difference between while and do while means, first the given condition is executed and statements are first the given condition is tested and the statements are executed in the while loop, whereas in the do while loop first the statements are all the statements are executed, then only the condition becomes tested. So this is the main difference between a do loop, a while loop, and do while loop. Next important loop is for loop. So for loop is another important loop or looping statement in C language. Syntax is for brackets initialization semicolon condition semicolon iteration bracket open body of the loop or statements bracket close. So the syntax is for initialization comma semicolon some testing semicolon increment and decrement operator. So here the variable which is used at for loop or while loop or do while loop, it is called as index variable. It is called as an index variable or looping variable. The for loop there are three parts. The first part called as initialization, second part is called as testing or tested conditions, third part is called as increment decrement operators. So the for loop is executed for a fixed number of times, based on the condition until and unless the condition is true. Until and unless the condition is true means once the condition becomes false, the loop will be exited from the statements. The loop will be exited automatically. So this is a sample program using for loop. Nested loops. What are nested loops? Nested loops means a loop having another loop within it. Means one loop having or one loop containing another loop in it. Jumping statements. Next are jumping statements. So what are jumping statements? There are four types of jump statements: break, continue, return, and go to. These are called as jumping statements means we can move from one point to another point without any condition. We can directly move within the program from one place to another place within any condition or like that. So there are four types of jumping statements: break, continue, return, and go to. These statements transfer control to another part of your program. So there are four control statements or jumping statements: break, continue, return, and go to. Break is used to come out of the loop or any loop immediately. అంటే మనకి ఫర్ లూప్లోంచి కానీ వైల్ లూప్లోంచి కానీ డూ వైల్ లూప్లోంచి కానీ ఇమీడియట్గా మనం ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోవడానికి బ్రేక్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అనేది వాడతాం. దానికి ఏం సింటాక్స్ ఉండదు, జస్ట్ బ్రేక్ అని ఇచ్చి సెమీకోలన్ ఇస్తాం. లైక్ కంటిన్యూ. వాట్ ఈస్ కంటిన్యూ? Continue statement is used to skip all the statements remaining after continue. Return statement is generally used to return some value to the program. And go to statement is used to go to from one place to another place unconditionally, and means without any condition. So these are the examples and syntax and examples: break, continue, return, go to. So these are the control statements. So what are control statements? Control statements are two types. What is control statement? Control statements generally used to control the flow of a program. Control statements are generally used to control the flow of a program. Means it controls the execution of a program, execution and logic of a program. There are two types of control statements. First one is looping statements. First one is conditional statements. First one is conditional statements or conditions. Second one is looping statements or loops. Okay, it is a compulsory essay type question.